All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Life and Whatever Else. Sorry, guys, that it's been a while. I know you guys have been waiting eagerly for the next episode of Life and Whatever Else. I took a little bit of a hiatus. I'm back. I sound like shit today. I'm sorry for that. Getting over a cold and everything. But we are here at the studios of the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, 59th Street, between 10th and 11th Avenue. Shout out to them for all their help. And today we have a special guest, Will Watson. Will Do Work Watson. He's back to discuss some fights.
We're here for round two. It's round two, right?
Round two. That's what we're here for. So let's see. Before we discuss that, what's been up with you since the last time you were here?
Uh, Not much. Just got back from China.
Okay.
Went down to Zhengzhou, China, 'cause my wife's from Zhengzhou,
Okay,
China, and we got
excellent.
married down there.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, sir. So that was cool, and then we went to Thailand for a little bit, and then back to Zhengzhou to hang out. So it was a long trip,
Okay.
and so I'm back and up and ready.
Sounds like a good trip.
It was a
Sounds
great
like a
trip.
fun
It was
trip.
like one of the greatest trips I've been on so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to go on a terrible trip or anything, so
No one ever wants to go on a trip.
no one ever wants to go on
but
that.
it happens.
It does happen that you just end up going on a trip and just
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I'm
this
good
was-
as long as I have a good story. Like even
Yeah.
if it's bad, like
There you go,
As
yeah.
long as you got a story,
As long as you got something to come out of it with,
experience, or
then you're
story.
good.
Yeah.
But let's see. A lot has gone on in the fight world.
Yes, there has been some action. What was
I
it? Has
I
it been,
gotta
8 weeks, something like that. I don't know. 10
some we
weeks?
were here August. We were here before the McGregor Mayweather
So
fight.
a lot happened like in a short amount.
Yeah, a lot. And so we're back here now. It's October. So
Yeah.
I gotta ask you first.
Still hot, kind of.
Yeah, I know. Like, what's up with that? I can't take that.
Degrees right now.
That's like what's getting me sick. Almost like it can't stay one like weather.
It's
I
good
g-
for me. 'Cause, like the good thing is, it was pretty hot in China. Like when we first got there, it was like summer.
Okay.
It felt like summertime. But it started feeling like fall, like the last few days we were there.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, but it was, it was okay. And come
It
back
need-
here and it's still hot. It's like, all right, cool.
It needs to start feeling like fall here. Cause see, I'm the type of person that wants
I feel fall, but not from the weather.
exactly. Yeah. You see all the like Halloween decorations going up and everything, and you're like, okay, I know it's fall, but like you'll get like a couple days where it was like 60 degrees and like a cold 60, like maybe
Right,
50, 60
right.
degrees. Then all of a sudden we're back up to like 78, 84, and I'm like, no, come on, we need to stay. One thing, I took out all my sweaters,
Right.
put away
right.
all my summer stuff. I can't be doing
Right.
this.
Yeah, just
okay?
last night I was putting away summer stuff, and then today I was like, I need shorts. Right
And
now.
you're like, oh, wait a second, I can't put this away just yet.
Yeah.
Got a couple days left. But yeah, so we've had a lot go on in the fight world the last couple weeks. To start it all off, I guess I got to ask you, who won, Canelo or Triple G?
Oh, that was such a good and close fight.
It was.
Such a good fight.
It was a good fight. I
was a
liked
great
it.
Fight. It was so good. I almost cursed just now.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
okay.
good.
Why not? We can let out a
Um,
little curse word every once in a while.
But no. I mean, I was rooting for Canelo, but I definitely think that I thought Triple G won 1 or 2 rounds. Like,
Yeah,
edged it out with like 1 or 2 rounds.
I
Especially
agree
in the
with
middle,
that.
he just like walking forward and putting the pressure and landing. I think Canelo just didn't throw enough.
Yeah, make sure you speak a little louder so that we make sure that we
Oh,
get
okay.
everything that you're saying.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. So yeah, I think Canelo just should have worked more in like those middle rounds.
I
Like
agree with that.
that, like what is it, like 6 to 9 or 5 to 10, like a
Yeah.
little more. Yeah, but you could tell he was trying.
Yeah,
Like, but Triple G just like still stepping forward. It's the size.
yeah, he was still
difference.
coming forward that whole fight. So even if let's say Canelo landed the more impactful shots, it's always gonna look like Triple G is winning
Right.
because he's
If the
forcing
guy's
him
still
back.
stepping forward, it's just
Yeah.
like which is tough. It's tough on Triple G. I mean, that guy is tough. Like you
Yeah.
saw, he's getting hit with combinations and stepping forward.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think you can also tell like Canelo had a strategy. Like he
Mhm.
was trying to make sure he could last through those championship
Yeah.
rounds. So he was like
He
dancing
tried
a
to
lot.
pace himself, I
Right,
think. Sometimes you can outsmart yourself when you try to do that because you're losing rounds that you probably could be winning
Right.
by trying to pace
I
yourself.
think that's like kind of what happened. Like but you could tell he wanted to work more, but it was just
Yeah.
like, let me make sure I can still work later.
Even with that though, and watching the fight, I thought that a draw wasn't necessarily a ridiculous. Like I didn't think
Right.
114. Now a draw on the
Right.
scorecard.
Right.
What it ended up being was a little outrageous, but
Right.
114 I didn't think was that
Me
outrageous
neither.
because
I was like,
if you go off the idea, because I mean I don't usually score fights when they happen because I try to enjoy them as much as I can.
right.
So I'm thinking if Canelo wins the first 3 rounds and they give him the last 3 rounds, you got 6 and 6 right there.
Right. Exactly.
So to me, I thought Triple G did win, but I thought it was probably like a 115, 113, 116, 112, something like that.
right.
You get one judge, Adelaide Bird, who comes out and is like 118, 110 for
Yeah.
Canelo. I was like, what is that?
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
that was absurd.
just the margin though. It was such a wide gap. It was like,
Yeah.
what were you watching? But it's
She
weird
wasn't
because
watching
it's
apparently.
weird because like Canelo. I think as far as CompuBox, like Canelo's was more efficient.
Yeah.
So, but it was just I don't know. It's like I just felt like if Triple G won, he won by like 1 and 2 rounds. But
Yeah, I agree
it's
with
like
that.
arguable.
Yeah, of course. It's definitely
It
arguable.
was just such a good fight. Those guys were banging on each other.
Yeah.
And
It was good, but it wasn't like sloppy banging. Because sometimes you'll see
Right.
fights where it's just like winging and like,
it's very technical,
you
but
know,
they were
it's
like
a very
punching
technical
hard.
fight. It was enjoyable to watch. I know. I enjoyed watching it a lot. And like, I know that they're going to fight again. I don't know how soon though. I'm not sure.
I heard. Well, I probably read rumors that they're looking at like May or something. But honestly,
Oh, yeah, May? Wow.
I'm not even interested in a rematch. I thought it was just it was a good fight, and I feel like they should just both move on, or maybe revisit the fight later.
I'm not interested 100% in a rematch right now. Because I
Right.
feel if you do a rematch right now, I don't know if people will be as interested in the fight because it almost feels like it's rushed. It's almost gonna feel like that 118, 110 scorecard was like almost planted in there,
Right.
which I mean it probably was. I mean she was probably. I don't want to say there's corruption, but you never know what can happen. She might have went into business for herself and just said, you know what, I want to see this again.
Maybe she
or
bet like
who knows? But
I don't know.
if you do it right away, it's gonna seem like, oh, this was fixed to have another fight right away. And I think they should hold off on it, and they should. I'm sure Danny Jacobs wants to get in there with one of these two guys. You know,
and I
either-
want to see them fight other guys too. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see Canelo fight like Errol Spence and
Uh-huh.
Keith Thurman, and I didn't feel like they just needed to fight again right away. And plus, Triple G's so big. Like Canelo usually fights much smaller.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the only difference. Like
That was one other interesting thing is, and watching this fight when you look at it, Canelo he's a big guy, but you could tell that Canelo's muscle and don't I'm not implying steroids, so I hope nobody takes this. You could tell that
you mentioned muscle, it was like
yeah, because people always go that route, but you could tell with Canelo that his size is more a product of working out, lifting weights, all that.
Right.
Triple G is naturally
Right.
that size.
You can tell he's not like ripped.
Yeah,
just
he's
kinda
not.
like-
That's his natural
Right,
look. So
He's just big.
that was another interesting element is that a lot of people were going into saying, oh, Canelo's a pretty big guy. He cuts weight. He does all this stuff. In reality, his weight is not like it's not really that. It's again.
Right.
I'm gonna say I don't want to say it's steroids, but it's like it's almost like artificial weight. It's not natural.
Because his weight he just put on.
Exactly.
Like he before this he fought. I think he fought Chavez Jr. at like 64
Yeah.
to get ready for this fight at
Uh-huh.
160. But he's usually fighting at like 50, 54.
You could fight Chavez Jr. at any weight.
Yeah, Chavez Jr. Like he's nothing.
That guy.
We had that. That
That
was
guy.
like part of the last episode.
Oh, man.
But
He kills me.
it was just I thought it was it was like I was still impressed by Canelo just to take Triple G shots and to return fire the way
Yeah.
he did, and you saw some like masterful counters
Mm-hmm.
and footwork. It was just it was a good fight on both guys. Like you couldn't be mad either way.
No.
Like if someone was judged the winner, I just I wouldn't be upset either way. Like it was just a good fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was. I thought. I mean, like I said, it should have been Triple G who won, but a draw to me, at the end of the day, was not necessarily the worst. Just 118, 110, not a good score.
It just sucks for as a fighter.
But to
Like,
hear,
I wouldn't want to be.
yeah.
I would never want.
And I mean, even if you say in public that, yeah, because
rather
Canelo's saying, I won the fight, but I think deep down inside he knows even if he won that fight, he did not win it by that margin.
right.
So he can go out and try to, lay claim to that score or anything, but he knows that he didn't win 118, 110.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, he knows what he was. Some rounds he was like he's
Yeah.
working, he's surviving. I was impressed that Triple G stuck with his jab. Like he was very consistent, even though he usually is. But he just stayed with it. I was impressed.
I
And
think-
he has a hard jab too.
I think he was also a little afraid of what was coming back at him.
yeah.
He didn't want to. He didn't, because they would talk on the fight. They were talking a lot about him going forward, but him not going forward, always looking to really finish. It was almost like there was a
Yeah,
hesitancy.
he wasn't going forward recklessly. Like it was with caution.
Because he
respect.
didn't want to face what was coming back, because he knows Canelo can hit.
He's a counter puncher.
So
he Canelo's waiting to counter.
Yeah.
Even here, that was like one of the best shots landed in
Mhm.
the fight. And Canelo's like, no big deal.
He's shaking it
Yeah.
off.
That's when I knew. I was like, oh shit. Oh, sorry. That's
No,
when
it's
I knew
alright,
I
it's
was
alright.
like, oh,
Listen,
this is gonna be a fight.
Listen, we can have some curse words. We just
Dog,
can't,
I hope
we
this
just
is a late night show.
like no,
after
we're
10
shooting
p.m.
late, but this people could watch this at 10 in the morning. I don't know, but we can have some curse words every once in a while. It happens. We've all let out a curse word or two. But so let's see. Moving on from that fight.
We had
Let's see
we had
here.
the McGregor Mayweather. 'Cause we were
Let me
talking
just-
about that
Let me. I just before we move on, I just want to say, Doug, TT, thank you guys for helping me. Also, if you could, I don't want to get pulled from YouTube, so I don't know if you guys are pulling up clips and putting them on the main camera. So just avoid pulling up clips from YouTube and taking them as the main shot. Just leave them on the monitor here, because I don't want to get pulled from YouTube. I got pulled once, and somebody's been asking me what happened to that episode, and I'm like, it's a lost episode now.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you can't even.
Because it's
not
like
coming back
it's
on?
like algorithms.
Okay.
So they recognize when stuff is being played that it shouldn't be. So if you ever notice, and people, I don't want to give piracy lessons here, but if you ever notice, people who play fights like this, sometimes they'll play the fight in the corner of the screen,
Right.
and they'll have a picture around, because it can't recognize the full. I didn't realize that at first. And then I realized, I'm like, why are people doing this? It looks so stupid.
Science
But now people are doing it. I mean, they're going to get caught eventually, but
Right.
they put it in the little corner and they have a picture, so it doesn't recognize the full picture that's being
Right.
shown.
It's like a small part of what's
Yeah, so unfortunately, I one time I learned the lesson and put up a picture and video, picture and audio, and got taken down, and so
You won't learn until it happens sometimes.
it
So you
knocked
gotta
out a really good part of the episode, and I got flustered, and I was
That
like, I'm not
sucks.
putting this back up. So it's a lost episode. Maybe one day we'll see it.
Yeah, we do the lost episodes of life and whatever else.
When the show gets really big, I'm gonna look back and I'll be like, hey, listen, so 5-6 years ago we did this episode. It never aired. So I'm sure.
It'd be like treasure.
Damn, I'm gonna die here on the air. Shoot.
Hey, you're roughing it out. You're fresh off a cold. It's kind of still.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel I feel fine.
For
I feel fine. I feel like I can function. It's just I feel like my head is full of stuff.
Yeah.
It's
That's tough.
it's not fun.
No, not at all.
But it doesn't stop me from doing anything. So,
It's not gonna stop me.
So continuing, let's see what else. McGregor Mayweather.
Yeah, we had that spectacle thing.
I thought it was. I didn't think it was. It was a spectacle for sure,
Absolutely.
but I didn't think it was an outright embarrassment or anything like that. I kind of went the way I thought it would. Conor would look decent. Floyd would eventually take over with his skill and win.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything really special. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
I think people were just happy. Well, I guess like I guess average. I don't know, for lack of a better term, like average fan eyes, it looks like, oh, Conor didn't do so bad.
Yeah.
But guys who are like, look, train the sport,
Uh-huh.
that was like for Mayweather, that was just like sparring an amateur.
Oh yeah. It looked
just
it looked like a sparring session for him from the
yeah,
start.
it was just like, listen,
Yeah.
I'll let you work, and then, we know how this is gonna end.
Mhm. Exactly.
So get your work in now. I think
That's the impression.
numbers said that.
That was the impression I got from. Sorry to cut you off, but that was the impression I got from the very start of the fight. Was that this is like a sparring session. It's just kind of feeling him out and seeing what he's got.
Yeah.
Everybody's going like, "Ooh, wow! Look at
Right.
what Conor's doing! Like, oh man, he's like beating him up." And I'm like, I don't know if you guys are watching, but I am not seeing that. I'm seeing a guy who's kind of sitting back, just seeing what he's got. Now, if Conor had landed like a hard punch, maybe things would have changed.
Right.
But he didn't land anything of real.
He landed clean shots.
Clean.
He just didn't have that. When coming from MMA, you don't have that boxing power. I think this shows people like
Yeah.
boxers when you just specifically box, it's a different kind of power.
Yeah. Also in
So-
MMA, you're wearing smaller gloves,
Yeah.
so it accentuates your power.
Right. Right.
So
here is just you saw Mayweather get caught with a clean left uppercut, and he just stepped forward
yeah.
after. It was just like, all right. Well, I think once that happened, he knew. He was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
McGregor was probably like, oh man, he just took my left hand.
Yeah, I don't think he was used to that.
Oh,
That's probably one of the biggest
oh.
changes that I don't think people really talk about is that those gloves. This is actually a pretty cool angle of the fight. I don't know if this is from like a cell phone or from like an actual
The camera fisting.
person, but this is an interesting angle. Anyway, I think that like that might have caught him off guard too. Was he's out here punching him and hitting him, and he's not like in MMA. If you hit somebody with those gloves and you hit him clean, you'll start seeing their face, get cut up. You'll
Right.
see nicks. Boxing, you don't really see that much. You either hit him clean and you hurt him, or something. But in that, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You got where you're going with that one.
But no, and in boxing, when you hit somebody, like you've got to hit them. You got to hit them clean, and you got to have real power. People talk about Floyd not knocking guys out. Well, I mean, like he's not the biggest puncher, and then when you add in those gloves, he's not really gonna knock guys out. So people think he's gonna knock them out, like with one punch. It was an accumulation of punches, but like you don't really have a lot of one punch knockout guys anymore, at least. In MMA, with the gloves that they use, you see a ton of guys, one punch, boom, he's out. So I think that was something that Conor wasn't used to, and I think he thought, I'm going to hit him with one punch and he's going to go down, and it didn't really happen like that.
It just doesn't have the steam behind it, like just pure boxers. Like it's just a different kind of pop, on those punches. So I mean, look, you could see even when McGregor throws his jab, he's really not turning it over. He's kind of just touching. It's just that's not going to do anything to a guy like Mayweather or just a pure boxer. Imagine if McGregor fought Canelo, like that would have been over.
Oh boy,
Canelo would have been sitting in that pocket throwing combinations.
Yeah,
McGregor
he would have done whatever he wanted
to. What the hell's
to.
going on?
What was actually funny was that same night, Miguel Cotto was fighting.
Yes, and that fight got completely overshadowed by this one.
And I watched
that. Was a good fight.
I was actually happy because everything was timed, so that fight actually happened literally. That was almost like the co-main event. Like if you had no interest in the co-main event there, it's like you almost watch that fight as a co-main event on HBO, and then you move back to that fight on pay-per-view. But I was watching that fight, and I was saying to myself, boy, if McGregor wanted to box again, and somebody, and I was thinking this in my head, I was like, if somebody wanted to propose this, Cotto wants to retire. He wants to have one last fight. He's gonna end up fighting Lemieux, but in his retirement fight.
That'd be
but
cool.
I was thinking, if Conor had balls and he wanted to fight somebody thinking he could win, put him in there with Cotto. Put him in there with Cotto, and let's see what happens.
No.
He would get destroyed in that fight.
Yeah, if Cotto would touch his liver or his arm or his head with that left hook, and
It would be
McGregor,
bad.
It could be like really bad.
Yeah, that
Like,
would be
deadly
really
kind
bad.
of bad. Like, if he dies kind of
Good.
bad.
Good. We should laugh, but like, if he
Yeah.
dies, he dies.
Like that kind of bad.
But yeah, I was just watching that fight, and I was thinking to myself, man, if McGregor had balls and wanted to do this again, and wanted to get a decent payday with a decent opponent, go ahead,
Absolutely.
put him in there.
But it was entertaining, and people
Yeah.
got to see Mayweather get hit, which you're
Mhm.
not used to seeing. So people like, oh,
They got to
he's
see him
getting hit.
fight, which was
Yeah,
good.
It's been
I
a
mean,
while since you haven't seen him really
yeah, but
punch.
I think he's
Pretty Boy
officially
Floyd.
done after that. I don't
Yeah,
think some people talking about a possible rematch. I'm like, please.
he's finished. He's
Floyd's made enough money. He's gonna
the
continue
last three
make.
fights. He got like combined is like 700 mil. Right?
Yeah,
If you do
he's
the
gonna
math.
continue making money
he's
off
done.
of like promoting other fighters and just being involved.
I'm sure he
He's-
has other investments.
He's got his strip club.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
so
like in Vegas.
Yeah.
He just started a strip club in Vegas. So
he's gonna continue to make money. He
he'll be
doesn't.
fine.
He doesn't need to fight. He just wants to get to 50-0 and saw an opportunity. Like my belief is that if anybody else,
That's why he wore the ski mask. When
Yeah.
like people didn't get it. It's like it's because that was just a heist. Like,
yeah.
he just stole. Like that was the easiest 300 million he ever made.
Oh yeah,
You know, he probably put more energy into the tour,
promotion.
the promotional.
Yeah,
tour.
I was thinking the same thing.
And then like this was like he said he didn't even spar a month before this fight. He's like, oh, I just wanted my hands to be fresh so I could punch.
Well,
He's like,
he sent Paulie Malignaggi into Connor's
exactly.
camp.
Paulie
to,
came back with the report, the full report. And Miller was like, all right, cool. That's what we're going.
Don't get me started on that. I mean, oh my god, wow.
It was cool. It's just weird how it was like so much hype, and now like no one's even gonna remember this.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Like
to
10
see,
years from now, no one's gonna talk about this.
I'm
fight.
interested to see who Connor fights next, because people are talking about Nate Diaz being like his next fight, the big
I
fight.
heard that, but I don't like it.
Not
I want to
that
see him fight
interested.
someone like Tyron Woodley or Tony Ferguson. Or just
Yeah.
someone like
People
that would
talk.
be a better fight for
People
him.
are talking about Nate Diaz, and I'm like, if Nate was fighting and still winning, I'd be like, yeah, I want to see
Well, he
it.
won one against McGregor. so-
But well, yeah,
yeah, I mean, he choked him out, right? He made him tap.
but like what I'm saying is like if Nate was on like a 3-fight winning streak against like other guys, I'd be like, okay, I want to see this.
But
But
what Nate, I think what Nate is doing is like, he's preserving his body to make
Oh,
money
yeah.
at this point. I think
Yeah.
like, every fight right now, he's like, I need the biggest. Like, where's the money? I need
he's
a big check.
he's holding out for
Yeah.
a McGregor fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is what he's doing.
He probably doesn't
Um,
have many fights left. I mean, he's been in wars and
Yeah,
he's getting older.
yeah. He don't want to waste his body on
No.
other things,
Yeah,
and I don't
exactly.
blame him for that. I really don't.
Absolutely not.
I'm just
I
saying
do the
that
same thing.
from a promotional standpoint, I'm just thinking to myself like, I'm not that interested because they haven't fought in the UFC enough for me to sit there and be like, oh wow. Like, I mean, maybe to like a casual fan who just knows them,
Right.
it's a big fight. But for me, somebody who watches fights regularly, I'm not so interested. Like, if somebody said Nate and Connor, it's like, well, you people have been talking about it for so long, we might as well do it at this point. It's not really like this fight, like, no, get out. They're fighting each other.
Right.
Get
right,
out.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Now I feel like there's other fights like that. Like that, McGregor, there's other guys McGregor can match it with and people actually be interested. Like it'd be
Yeah.
a real fight. But I think same thing with him. I feel like he kinda had like a guided path,
Mm-hmm.
like to where he's at now.
By the way, you see this fight. Kevin Lee didn't.
Oh, and
he did-
Ferguson. He didn't make weight.
He didn't make weight.
Kevin Lee did not make weight. Is the
Didn't
fight
make
still
weight.
on or is it off?
I think the fight's still on, but it's not for an interim title anymore.
I mean,
He
who
was
else we-
bragging. He was bragging about being 174 pounds and being able to cut weight to get to 155.
Right, he couldn't make it this time.
Made it to 156.
Oh, he couldn't with one more.
Couldn't cut that 1 pound.
Oh, that means he's killing himself to cut. So,
I wish we could get rid of weight cutting.
well, look, I heard him say something in like I don't know, it was quick. I don't know if it was like a promo thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things like I was listening, I wasn't watching, but Kevin Lee said something like, he expects to just go in there and like give Tony Ferguson like a tough fight.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I feel like that's just not like a winning mentality. Like you should be like, yo, I'm going there. I'm gonna beat this guy. I'm gonna win. He's just like, I just want to make sure I give him a good fight so he respects me. It's like, you trying to win or no?
I think a lot of people talking about Kevin Lee, and I'm just like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, I've seen him fight. I mean, I take nothing from the guy, but
I
I'm
seen
just
him
not
fight
like
like
super
one. I seen
impressed.
him
I
fight
feel like
like
he
one
has
time.
he has a lot of hype behind his name for some reason. Like, I
Yeah,
guess they think he's really marketable.
cause him and Michael Chiesa started mouthing off to each other at a press conference, and so everybody's like, "Oh, look at these guys talking,"
Right.
and so like from there, everything took off. What was actually funny about this card was that everybody was worried about Ray Borg, who's fighting Demetrius Johnson. They're like, "Oh, this guy's not gonna make weight,"
Right.
so he makes weight, and then Kevin Lee comes up and he doesn't make
And
weight.
this is tomorrow, right?
It's tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So, my
So.
wife was asking me, she's like, "Hey, UFC tomorrow?" I was like, I don't know what's going
Oh
on.
man, yeah. No, sometimes seriously though, it's hard to. I didn't even remember this fight until maybe like 3-4 days ago.
They have a lot going on. Like,
Um,
I'm just now grasping. I'm learning that they have like a fight night, and then like
yeah, there's a lot. There's too much.
like it's a lot.
There's too. Let me rephrase
There
that.
needs to be more MMA promotions.
There's too much that's not important. I guess I can say because
It's
I
hard to
think
keep up. It's like they're oversaturating.
what my feeling is when it comes to like fight promotion is that they should have like maybe 12 or 16 cards and just say these are like the biggest cards, like the biggest fighters, the best names, title fights, all kinds of big shows, all that stuff.
Right.
And then they should have any fight that's not like on pay-per-view, not on like Fox or something. Just say, hey, these are up and comers, they're contenders. Don't sit there and take a big fight and put it as the main event of a fight night that nobody's gonna watch. Like I get so mad at that. They do that all the time. Like they'll take one fight to make it like the main event.
Right.
And I'm saying on a pay-per-view card, this would be like a great opener or second fight.
Right.
Instead, they're using it as a main event, and then on the pay-per-view, they got like some fight that between two guys, and you're like,
that you've never heard of before.
and I don't mean to disrespect guys, but like a lot of people, I think there are too many guys that get pushed way too fast, and they don't necessarily. I don't want to say deserve it because everybody like they work hard and everything,
Right.
but like they get pushed too fast, and they don't develop properly. So as opposed to them actually becoming a star, their star fades because it's like, wait, I saw you get smashed on a pay-per-view by this guy when you weren't really ready.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like the UFC just I think they try to pick who's marketable and like let's just market this person and they don't give them the time to just like let their skills market them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I think they push guys way too fast.
Yeah, and they'll just like sometimes they'll just forget about the ranking system.
Yeah.
Or
I don't really honestly like I don't even believe in their ranking system. No. I think that's I think that's kind of a farce. Like,
dude, look at GSP. He's coming back. He hasn't fought in like what 4 or 5 years. He comes back.
2013. I think it was 2013.
Like
something.
He comes
like
back. He gets a middleweight fight with Michael Bisping. It was just like I think it's his first fight at middleweight.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. And then I don't know. It's just weird. And then he gets a title fight right away.
It's a
like,
weird. I agree. It's a weird
at least
fight.
At like I don't know, rank 11 and work his way up or something.
And I don't even think
the pressure for him.
I don't even think the public's really talking about that fight being anything like. Again, guys, I just gotta say I'm sorry for sounding like shit. So again, I'm sorry about that, but I'm gonna get through this show today. Okay, so.
Not just gonna get through it. You're gonna dominate.
That's right.
I'm the best show ever.
I'm gonna dominate. So, yeah, but nobody's really talking about that fight, and like, it's just weird. Like, it's almost like people forgot about GSP, and like, you know,
he's been gone for 5 years. Like, there's there's just a generation of kids who never seen him fight that are watching the sport right now.
See, I have
like, who's this GSP?
Yeah,
speak of?
I know who is this? Who is this weird man with this weird Canadian accent or weird French Canadian accent?
It's like,
I have a theory on like fighters that kind of like retire and come back into it. My feeling is that when you're an unknown and you're younger, you work your way up.
Yeah, that's me right now.
When you you'll get there someday, don't worry.
We're hustling, we're doing it. We're training today.
But you have younger fighters and they work their way up the ranking system, okay? So you get to a certain point where you're in the title mix. Even if you're not the champion, you're
contending.
Co-main eventing.
Top 5.
Exactly. So you get to that point.
Getting some money.
Then if you lose a couple times or you just get older, your skills start to deteriorate a little bit. You got to face other guys of that level. Right. It's almost like you pass championship level and you become like legend almost.
Right.
I know that's like a
if
weird
you've
term.
been champion.
I'm sure there's, or not even
It's
champion.
like the fight night game, right? You're like just champions and legends.
Yeah.
And then greatest of all time.
But like you don't even have to be a champion. Like if you're just in the mix.
Oh, I see it. Like, just for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and then you
able to
get older.
maintain that.
You should have to work your way like kind of almost back down in a sense. Like
so you could go out cool. Like you don't go out on like like the ambulance not carting you off out the ring.
Yeah, like you don't want that.
Like go out looking good.
So like my theory is that like once you get to a certain level, I don't want to see you in a, like this is my thing with GSP. I don't want to see you in a championship fight. I want to see you fight other guys who maybe have a name, who maybe they've been out of the game a little bit. Maybe they're coming back into it too. I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody off the top of my head. Like, let's say
you could pull Tito Ortiz back, but
no, like, screw him. He's one guy. I'm done with him. I don't want
that dude figured it out, man. I've never seen someone like lose 5 years worth of fights and still get huge fights.
I don't know. Dude's talking about neck surgery. Did you see his video? He had neck surgery, and he come out of neck surgery. He's sitting in his car with like the brace on, everything. He's like, "Chill, I'm coming for you." And I'm like, what? You're coming for him when?
Right first.
When you're 50 or something? Come on, man. But like I was saying, like with guys like Chael, Tito, all these guys that come back, fight each other. And if somebody ends up being dominant and they're beating all these guys, then it's almost like you work. It's almost like you work back towards being a champion. It's almost like you're past being a champion, but then you could work back to it, and then you work yourself back into facing all these younger guys who are coming up. So with somebody like GSP, I feel like that's what they should be doing. Like
they're just marketing. It's like, oh, GSP, like just throw them in there. Like let's get some.
Like as crazy as it sounds,
it's just weird.
I don't think this fight would be a main event sell, but if you made it a co-main event, if you told me that Anderson Silva and GSP were gonna fight, it's not gonna be a main event. I'm not gonna sit there and say, oh yeah, I'll drop like $60 to see that. But if you told me that's gonna be like the co-main event on a card,
then it makes it more interesting.
I'd be like, wait a second, these guys coming back just for the hell of it?
Because we got the dope athletes and we got the legends going there.
About time I'll watch that fight.
Right.
I don't want to see them fight for championships, but I'll watch that fight. Yeah, I want to see who's best. We talked about it for years, so why not?
Right.
And then if, let's say, GSP dominates that fight, then all of a sudden you put him in there against somebody else. I don't know, Lyoto Machida or somebody like that.
Right.
Just put him in there and say, let me see what you got. You dominate Machida, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a second. This guy's back. He's legit. He's still what he was.
That's a possibility? You think you could like dominate Bisping after being out? I feel like that's just to come back and just to come back right into a title fight is just like weird. I guess it's good.
I've always hated that. They've always had that problem with fights. Like I've always hated it.
Like not a warm up fight. I don't believe in like tune up fights. But I feel like he just have a fight.
That's kind of the problem with the UFC system. Is that you don't have anybody like I know sometimes like in boxing they're like mandatories and stuff like that. So and I know that sometimes it could get sticky because you have certain situations where it's like, do we really want to see this guy fighting? But it may get this guy ready to fight this other guy. So when he fights him, and you don't have that in the UFC, so you end up having like this situation where these guys, like I remember when Cain Velasquez came back. And he fought Junior Dos Santos, and Dos Santos hits him with the right hand. And I'm saying to myself, wait a second, listen. We saw what happened in the fights after that.
Right.
So, I mean, that was kind of fluky that he got hit. I mean, you throw a guy in there. He's not faced anybody at that level. You could train all you want, but until you step in the cage, you've not faced anybody at that level.
Bit,
So, but, yeah, so, I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like, I don't know. I just
talk to me. Well, I've been talking too much. I'm sorry.
No.
You're the guest.
Cool. It's cool. It's great. I mean, the UFC just. I feel like they even with like for instance, like with the doping policy, like Jon Jones getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just he says like, oh, I wasn't really using anything. Like it's just something. I mean, I feel like they don't even have like a good grip on it yet.
No,
you see how like it's not like a thing in boxing anymore, like it was in like the late 80s, like early 90s. It's just like you don't really hear about people getting pulled except for like this Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
Fight. But I feel like they just have like a better grip on it. You know, like when guys get pulled. Well, when you hear about guys getting pulled from fights in boxing, like it wasn't like it's no confusion. It's like I just got caught.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? But like in the UFC, it's still like, oh, I was just drinking protein. Maybe it was something in the protein or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess.
It's kind of like yeah. Like they don't have it down packed yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mess, and like it sucks because you build these cards up and everything like that. Then all of a sudden, like 2-3 days out, and it's not like guys are getting
I feel
pulled.
like guys you still need to let that fight go. Like what was it? That first time like DC, like Jon Jones went down with testing. He's fighting DC. Like let him fight. Like ask DC if he still wants to fight him. And
Yeah,
if he says yes, let him fight. Like
yeah,
if he doesn't mind, then why do you mind?
yeah, like
you know what I mean? Like if he thinks he could beat him while he's on steroids, then all right, cool.
yeah. I mean, it's weird because a lot of these guys have probably fought. I think it's more the principle because a lot of these guys know that either they've been dirty themselves and they fought other dirty guys that got caught, or they know that I've beaten people who were on the juice before,
Right.
so I could beat this guy.
Yeah,
And
they're
also
not really worried about it.
also Cormier was beating Jones in this last fight. I mean, if you want to make the case that whatever he was taking allowed him to maintain his strength,
Take punishment and maintain his strength.
yeah.
Nah,
I mean, unless you want to make that case,
man, just I don't know. I don't see the big.
and I'm telling you right now, Jon Jones is 30. Some people saying he's done. He is not done.
No, he's not done. He's gonna
Even if they give him like a 4
he comes back and he's like 34, 35. He's not. He'll be fine. He'll come back and be contending.
Exactly. He's gonna come back. Cause also he'll probably need the money too. Cause he's not.
He was saying that this past fight. He was like, yeah, I had to get some money now. Then he's like,
Yeah.
like suspended.
Cause he's not. Good.
It's not funny. It's funny, but it's not.
Cause like
that's how he makes a living.
he's not like Conor McGregor superstar where he could cross over into something else right now. So like guarantee in 4 years he's still fighting. Even if it's not in the UFC, even if it's Bellator in Japan somewhere, he's still fighting. But who the hell knows boxing? He might even box. So
he might do WWE.
I can see that too.
Why not? I saw they had what's the Gabriella girl? She's like massive Brazilian girl.
Oh, Gabby
Just
Garcia.
Yeah, Gabby Garcia just got into MMA and like they were like, hey, would you do WWE? It's like she'd be like perfect for WWE.
I don't know.
Look like her physique was meant for WWE. She's the new China.
I don't know about WWE. I have
Just
to be
smaller
honest.
boobs.
I don't know about WWE because WWE is like it's become a lot more entertainment based, and like
It's always been right.
you have to be an athlete always,
Right.
but it's become more entertainment based in the sense that they do a lot of talking now, and so a lot of the people like Cyborg was
like
talking.
you need a personality.
Exactly.
Like,
Like Ronda Rousey could go over there because that's what she's gonna do pretty much. But like you need that personality, and like some of the Brazilian girls, they don't have that like because some of them don't speak the
They don't
language.
have like that Showtime like click.
Yeah, it's like awkward. It's like very awkward. It's like their
Well,
form
she
of
could be like the female Undertaker.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't have to say anything. She's just death.
That's a good one.
She's huge, right?
That's
she's
a
just
good
like
one.
Death. She could be like the female version of Undertaker.
That's hilarious.
And they can actually use him to introduce her, right?
That is hilarious.
Because he's like 60. Like he can't.
No, he's like 52. He just we think he retired. He might have had.
I don't think he'll ever retire.
He might have had his last match.
He could like eventually he'll be legend. And
yeah,
then he'll be able to fight without moving. Like he'll be like it'll be like a spirit Undertaker.
Yeah.
So she could be like the female.
That's hilarious.
She could be Undertaker.
But yeah. So Jon Jones will come back to fight. Just going back to that, he'll come back to fight. Yeah, trust me, they're gonna need him at some point because UFC is still not.
He's still steroids or not. Have you seen a roster at light heavyweight? Like who's gonna beat him anyway? And like that roster, that division needs him more than he needs them.
I'm telling you right now.
Like there's no one else besides DC. There's just no one else.
I'm telling you right now.
Besides Gustafsson, maybe another.
Some of these guys let Bisping have 185. I would tell Weidman, Yoel Romero, Luke Rockhold. I say all you guys go up to 205. Cause there ain't nobody there.
Or just pretend. We'll just say you're 205.
They can all make it. They'll be fine. The only guy that's at 205 is really that that I think is really dangerous is that Russian guy.
Oh yeah, I forget his name.
Uzdemir.
I forget his name. I always mess it up. So I'm not
think
even
it's
gonna try.
Uzdemir. I saw him fighting this last fight. I'm thinking, I forgot. Was it Dave Branch? No, it wasn't Dave Branch.
David Branch and Luke Rockhold.
Branch fought Rockhold. Who he fought? It was another black guy that he fought.
David Branch.
No. Oh, no, didn't Branch fight? Branch fought Rockhold last.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that
Uzdemir
I think I was in Thailand when that fight was happening.
Uzdemir fought. I would tell Doug to pull it up, but I don't know if he can spell Uzdemir. That's a pretty hard
I think
name.
he's like number 5 on the UFC roster. Last time I checked.
Who did he fight last? Oh man, this is gonna bug me now.
No, I forget because I didn't see him fight, but someone told me it's like, yo,
Neil Magny.
How'd that go? How'd that turn out?
Magny's 185, right? Or what is Magny?
I'm
No,
not sure.
I'm thinking wrong weight class. Am I? Damn. No, that's
Kelvin Gastelum. He can't make a weight.
No, not Hector Lombard.
We just had Uriah Hall get a big knockout.
Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, we'll figure.
Yeah,
Uriah Hall did get a knockout.
Love that guy, Uriah Hall. He's dope.
But that Uzdemir guy is the only guy at 205 that I look at and say he could be something. Everybody else, it's like standing still. It's like win one, lose one.
It's weird.
It's nothing. So I would tell all these guys that are like kind of.
I think because it used to be so. That division used to be like so action packed because it had like Chuck Liddell, Rashad Evans at one point. Like Rampage. That division was like just the division actually at one point in time, and now it's just kind of dead.
I have a theory about 205.
It's the smaller fighters now, man. The smaller fighters are like.
See, I have a theory. I have a theory about 205, and we're gonna wrap up in a little bit. I have a theory about 205 and like weight cutting and all that. I think that, and I'm gonna ask you what you think about this. I think that if you want to get rid of weight cutting and get rid of all these problems with all these fights, you have weight classes that are like, instead of weight class, you have like a weight range. So you have like 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, 80 to 200, and then over 200.
Right, I see. So you can like show up between like 150, 155.
And any of these guys, like you weigh in, when you come to fight, you weigh in. Whatever your weight is on fight night, that's what you're held to for the next fight. So you have to fight in that weight class your next fight. And then what you do from there, but you don't have, like, if let's say one guy weighs, 48 and another guy weighs 156, you fight each other. You don't have to cut weight, anything, you don't have to make it.
Right.
You can weigh whatever,
naturally.
as long as you're within that range.
Right.
And to me, what you should do is, over 200 pounds, it should be like an open division. But if there's a certain amount of weight in between, you can demand that the heavier fighter cut weight to a certain weight.
Well, that's when it gets weird, because then that guy's at like a disadvantage. Like if he had to cut weight and one guy didn't.
Well, no, that's what
it could just get weird.
No,
or
but
he could just.
But that's what I'm saying is that, if you get a guy, because my theory has always been that if you have 205 pounds, I feel like it's such an awkward weight, because I feel like a lot of these guys that fight at 185 can make 205.
Yeah, they like walking around that 205.
And it's like this weird mix where I feel like a lot of these guys, like, why are you cutting 50? At that, to me, and I'm not a fighter, but I just feel like at that weight, I like anybody fighting in that range.
Remember Anderson Silva? He went up to 205 a couple times, right? Against
he fought Forrest Griffin.
Yeah, Forrest Griffin and Forrest Griffin's buddy, the dude he had a legendary fight with.
Stephan Bonner.
But you can see the difference, like, in the size.
But he can still beat those guys.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, no disrespect to Stephan Bonner and Forrest, but you saw the outcomes of those fights. They weren't even close.
But that's my feeling.
There's a big gap in, like, skills between, like, Anderson Silva and Stephan Bonner.
But that's what I'm saying, is you have skills. To me, it's not all about size. Right. I think it's more about skill. Yeah. So what? So, like, my point, I'm sorry, I'm just talking a lot right now.
Nah, go for it.
But, like, my point is that if you cut down the weight classes and guys didn't feel like they had to cut weight so often, guys would all of a sudden feel like, okay, I could just focus on my skills and I can just work out, do what I need to do instead of focusing on weight. I got to keep my weight down so I can cut, 15 pounds the night before the fight.
Right.
You don't have cut that out. you know. And then
I guess it depends on like how you want to do it. Look at Mayweather toward the end of his career, he stopped cutting entirely.
yeah,
Like he just walked around at 150, between like 150, 155. He just
yeah.
fights there. He
And
just
there are a
shows
lot of
up.
guys. There are also a lot of guys. You see Rafael dos Anjos? Like
Yeah,
he moved up to 170. Dude's almost like 190.
yeah.
He looks
Dudes
healthy.
are they're massive. Like they
Yeah.
sometimes they're short in the like UFC, like the MMA promotions, but they're like wide. They're
Yeah.
massive. Just from like I think in like the weight training and the grappling
Uh-huh.
just makes people huge. Like when you're grappling and you're sprinting, like it just like blows you up. So
I
you like grow wide.
I remember one time I saw Tim Kennedy at a gym here in the city, and he got up and I shook his hand and everything.
Right.
That dude was shorter than me, but
Right.
holy shit, he
It's
was.
just massive, right?
Oh, that sounds crazy, but he was thick. I mean, he stood up and I said, "Dude, you're short." I didn't tell him that, but I was thinking it.
You
I was
think,
like, "Yo, you're short.
but you're big.
Like-
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
You're short,
a
but you're
little
big."
guy.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say that to everybody. Might get the wrong idea.
This connotation is more crazy, right? I think I just take it to another level with that. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
it's just weight cutting is I don't know. I don't think it's for everyone. I think you just got to know who you are as an athlete. Some people need to weight
Yeah.
cut, some people don't.
Yeah. And
you
I was
know-
just like rambling there for a second because my
And
theory
if you
was,
can hit, you can hit. Sometimes size doesn't matter all the time if you can hit hard.
yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Like look at the Guillermo Rigondeaux and Lomachenko fight. Like Rigondeaux's gonna be much smaller,
Yeah.
but he's like breaking people's eye sockets with his
I
left
think he's
hand.
gonna beat Lomachenko.
Really? You think he's gonna win?
I think he is.
I haven't thought about. I don't want to decide. I like them both so much. I don't want to root for one or the other. I just want to enjoy this fight, and I don't know how it's gonna. I don't know. It's hard. For me. It's just hard to predict. I feel like they're both fast. They're both strong. I think Guillermo has a little bit more power. He's got a little bit more,
Yeah.
more power, more pop.
Mm-hmm.
Lomachenko throws like more volume.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they both have really good footwork, good defense. They're both left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be awkward. Like I don't know. It's gonna
Well,
this fight's
it'll
gonna
be
I just don't
interesting
know
to
what-
see. I
What's
mean-
gonna happen? Where's it gonna go?
I mean,
But whatever happens is gonna be.
but I can't wait to see it. So
brilliant. I think. Yeah. Can't wait.
I'm excited for it. But yeah, just to wrap up real quick. The one point I was trying to make was just if we got rid of some of these like weight classes, I think we'd have clearer. Everything would be a lot more clearer in terms
So
of
less weight. Oh yeah.
less weight
like the
classes.
ranges.
Yeah, do like a weight range, so it'd be a lot more
Well,
clear.
we definitely would have less canceled fights. And
I think so because I think you'd have more guys who'd be willing to step up on short notice. Say, okay, I know that this guy's fighting in this, like that's his weight.
right.
I'll do it. Maybe there's like a 13-pound difference, but I know that going in,
And
it's
that's something
not.
that can be done.
Yeah,
It's like when you're training or sparring.
yeah,
Like
because
no one's exactly the same.
'cause
weight.
I've also felt that a lot of problems with weight cutting is because you get a lot of these guys that should be fighting at heavyweight that weigh like 235, 240. They're cutting to 205.
Right.
Then in turn, you get guys coming from 205 to 185,
That's exactly what's
and it's a
happening.
trickle down effect. And I just feel like we got to stop because they're talking about adding somebody's talking about a 225-pound class, and
Yeah, I think there was one promotion. I think it's maybe like a boxing sanctioning body. I don't know. It was one sanctioning body. I forget the name, but I read like an article. Like they added 4 weight classes.
I think in California they had. I
Some
think it's
people
been
could, like,
approved.
not cut so much, so they added like 4 more weight classes, which is I don't know. I already kind of think it's too many weight classes.
Yeah, I agree with it because
It's just like so much, and there's so many belts. It's like
yeah, and
in
if
boxing.
if you have like a 225-pound, what's gonna prevent like a guy who's 250, 60 cutting down to 225?
What's gonna prevent guys from being fat? Like, are we not done with like the fat heavyweight boxers? Like, every time I see one, I'm just like, man, get out of here.
Listen, you we're on
I
the same
can't,
page.
like I'm just tired of looking at it because it's like, dude, you're just relying on like power and you're just in there swinging. It's not.
I see
It doesn't
some.
even look
I see
good.
some UFC heavyweights and like their titties are like down here, and I'm like, you need a bra.
Right. It's like how are you getting paid to be in here? You're not even in shape. Like, you just showed up.
You don't understand.
It was like you just got off the couch and
That-
just put the gloves on.
When people talk about heavyweight in the UFC,
And that's why the division's so dead.
they don't understand. The best heavyweights are Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier,
Right.
and they're not fighting at heavyweight.
Right. And Cormier used to fight at heavyweight. And
Exactly.
he was handling those guys. He was undefeated at heavyweight.
Exactly. You need to get like the in shape guys. Like, why do you think guys like Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, why are they getting the push? They look like athletes,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
They don't look like they got pulled from a construction site because they were some big dude and just
And that's
say,
why
hey,
no one wants to fight him. You know,
yeah.
look at, no one's fought Anthony Joshua since the Klitschko
Exactly.
fight. I don't know what's holding that up.
Because like, look, those guys look like they actually train.
Yeah.
It's
Like
a novel
Deontay Wilder's
concept.
fighting Stavern again now. I don't know why, but like,
Because Ortiz,
like
that's
just give him
confusing.
Big Baby Miller. I think Big Baby Miller's ready for him.
yeah,
Actually, I think he needs a couple more fights.
he
before
wanted the
can-
fight, I think.
I mean, I think he can. Like Deontay, like with all due respect, I love Deontay, but to me, he's just like not. I mean, he has a big right hand, and to me, it's not much else.
There was a part of me
He
that
has like the big right hand, but
there was a part of
he's
me
not
that
like
was
a
hoping.
boxing genius.
Yeah,
He
there was
just
a
has that
part of
right
me
hand.
that was hoping Klitschko didn't retire, and that if Wilder really wanted to step up,
Right.
he would try.
Exactly.
He would try that, but
Fight someone technical.
or Klitschko would go back after Joshua, but he decided to call it quits. But I was really hoping. I was like, oh
That
man,
was a tough fight for Klitschko. That Joshua Klitschko fight, that was nuts.
oh that was
That was a
good.
good fight.
I
But
remember
was like,
watching it. I was like, oh, this is on right now, because I can't.
Yes, the same thing
I was
happened
like,
to me.
oh,
I like
it's on?
came across it. I was like, oh, what is
You're like,
this?
whoa, wait a
Right,
second.
right.
You
It
got
was like
mad
having
hype,
another
right?
country. I was like, oh, like why didn't we know about this? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on right now? And I just watched it and it was crazy.
Because
The fight
I
was
had heard
insane.
about it, but I thought that like it was gonna air on tape delay. Because like they were talking about how it was gonna be on HBO and Showtime, and I was
Right.
like, how's it gonna be on two networks at the same time? So it's gonna be on tape delay.
Right.
So, all right, fine. Then I put it on, I'm like, oh, it's on in the afternoon. Get out.
Yeah.
So I watched it. I was like, thank God I watched it. That was good,
It
man.
was good.
That
It
was
was
a good fight.
technical. Like you use
Technical,
like
yes.
heavyweights just being technical and like they have a strategy.
Yeah.
There's a plan. One's trying to do something, another one's trying to
It
do
wasn't
another
just, yo, I'm big. I'm gonna throw my right hand and I'm gonna
Right.
knock you out. No,
Right.
it was like a
thing.
strategy.
But you saw like the power those guys were throwing with. It was like
Oh, anything could have ended that fight.
and those are big guys. These dudes are
Real
monsters.
big.
And they were,
Real
like,
big.
technical, going at it. That fight was dope.
That
was a good
was.
fight.
We need more fights like that.
From
But
the big guys, yeah.
for now, we're gonna wrap up. I think I gotta get out here. I'm sounding even worse as we go on. But Will, what's going on with you? Where can we find you?
Still, please check out the Instagram. Will Do Work. The Facebook. Right now, I'm actually getting ready for my MMA debut, so it's pretty much grind time for training. I
When's your debut?
That's good. It'll be like within the first 3 months of the new year.
Okay.
So I got like it's like another 6 months. to
Here in
just-
New York?
Yeah, it'll be somewhere.
Okay.
Somewhere in New York, tri-state area.
All right.
So just looking forward to that. Getting ready. Glad I got like all the vacations out the way. China and Thailand.
Now it's
Now it's
focus.
just focus. Exactly. I can just
Focus.
focus, buckle down. So I look out for willdowork.com. I took that website down for a while just to make some changes, and
I hear
got
you.
some fresh ideas and some different things I'm bringing to the table. So look
Yeah.
out for willdowork.com.
Sometimes you got to do that, you know.
Yeah. Also, Poppy Apparel, clothing website.
Okay.
Kind of got a deal going on with them. And they got good stuff. They have good stuff.
All right.
All different kind of gear. So feel free to use the promo code WillDoWork247. That'll get you 10% off your
There you go.
entire purchase.
We'll do work
And you can
247.
reuse it. Yes,
There we go.
WillDoWork247. You can reuse it 10% off.
There we go.
Do it.
All right. Will, thank you for coming in. It's
Thank
always
you for
great
having
talking
me.
fighting.
Thank you so much.
We'll definitely have you back on.
Oh, that'd be great. I love it.
We'll promote your debut fight and everything like that.
That'd
in
be
MMA.
awesome. Oh, that'd
So,
be awesome. Yeah.
We look forward to that. Guys, again, thank you for listening. Check us out. I know social media, it sucks. I say it all the time. I will get better one day. But find us on
Getting better right now.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr.
YouTube too, right?
Well, this is one to LAWE.
I'm messing you up.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. LAWESHOWSM. That's where you find us on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook. And then on YouTube, it's Life and Whatever Else, no spaces. Life and Whatever Else, no spaces. All right. Will, again, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Doug, TT in the control room, thank you for helping out with
Yes,
today's
thank you,
show or
guys.
tonight's show. Appreciate it. Peace out. Thanks for listening, watching. Catch you next time.
Do work.